Alright, welcome back to batch B. Today we shall solve the problem or assignment given, especially the one that has to do with commands. This, please go by search online for this question. Number one, write an overview on MySQL database server. So study it, please. Know the year of invention, the lab where it is invented, the inventors, and the reason why MySQL was invented, and what is it, where is it used, and then try to know the versions. This is what I said. If you want to respond to this question, I wouldn't want you to just go to internet and download things. No, this is what you are expected to write for us. Maybe a short answer. One, the year of invention, that is, when was it invented? The lab, where it was invented. Why was it invented? That is MySQL. I'm talking about MySQL. And then the versions till date, that is versions of MySQL till date, and then some kind of communities. Communities for MySQL. Do we understand communities? Communities, that is those people who used MySQL. They'll form some groups. Like, for example, if you are using Java, there are communities for Java, like the Stack Overflow, you understand? So MySQL has its own. So search for it. The communities for MySQL, communities. The people who use MySQL. If, for example, you're having an issue while you are trying to do something, then the best way of solving such is, after several trials, if you could not solve it, then you move to communities and then you showcase the issues, and probably somebody will help you and bail you out of the problem. So now, questions. This question number one says, design a database titled PetDB and create a table named Pet with the following fields and types. Are we there? So please, this is the way to do it. I think the other time we did it, but then let me start it over here. Let's start over. For you to start MySQL, you press on your start button and go to and search. If you are using from Windows 8 and above, then you search for MySQL command, then you enter your password, and then press enter. So this is the client that enables you to interact with the server. Are we there? Yes. Let me see if I can increase the font size so everyone sees it. Is it visible now? I think visible by everyone, right? So now the question says that we'll create a table with the name, we'll create a DB called PetDB, and then we create table also with these fields. Are we understanding? Yes. So what I will do now, sorry. All right. I know I have a database called PetDB, but I'll drop it now because it will not allow me to create more than one database with same name. Or let me even assume that, let me just try it. Create database PetDB and press enter. It tells me that it cannot create because the database what exists. So let me first of all drop it. Drop database. Dropping means removing it completely from where? From the database. You know, it is the instances of the database we delete, but the schema of the database itself we only drop it. Are we there? So drop database what? PetDB. So now it is what? Drop. So I can use my arrow key to bring back my former create table command, and I press enter. It created PetDB, and they say we should create it with this. These are the fields: name, owner, species. This sex should be character, not should be character and only one, because we just want to be collecting male and female, male and female. Okay. So instead of me to type in the command here, let me use Notepad to type inside it. Okay, let me use this. Okay, create table. Hope it is visible. The table name is what? Pet. And then we create, the first thing is serial number, which is going to be an int, and also auto increment. Sorry. In between auto and increment there is what? An underscore, then primary, and then key, comma. So this is the name of the column, and this is the what? The type, the data type, and these are descriptions about it. So next is what? Name. We said it's going to be what? Vaka, and then is it owner? It's not correct, right? Thank you. Owner is what? Also Vaka. This 64, it's what? Is the length of characters. It will take up to 64. You can put in any length you want it. So next is what? Species. It's also Vaka 64. Then text. This one is character, only one character. Next is what? The birth date. So this is date, comma, the what? The death. And this is also date. So that's all. There should be no any comma at the end. So you copy this and paste it. You can type in directly here, but when you make mistake, it might be tedious for you to correct it. That's why we do type there, and then you press enter. It tells us that no database selected. So I have to make one database active. I only created the database and I did not use it. So I now say use pet what? DB. And then I will call my arrow key. I will use my arrow key the arrow keys on the keyboard to recall the command and press enter. It has affected. So you can now see the tables by saying show tables. So it will show you the tables of what? The selected database. Okay, PetDB. So then let's now describe the table. We are not trying to see the content of the table here. We are rather trying to see the description, the structure of the table by saying describe pet, and this is the description. When you describe and press enter, this is the description. It tells you that SN is what? Serial number. The type is what? Int, and it takes up to 11 digits, and it is not null. It cannot accept null here. Are we there? Next here is what? This is key. So it tells you that this is a primary key, and the default is that it is not null. So the extra here, it is what? Auto incremental. You can only have one auto incremental field in a particular table. You cannot have another auto incremental here, no. But you can have more than one primary key, which is called candidate key. There's also super key, candidate key, super key, and primary key, candidate key, super key. Yeah, we'll discuss them. And then, so this is the structure. Then we want to insert data into it. How do we insert? Let's go into this here, and then insert data. This is the command you can use to insert data. Insert into the table name is pet. Then you say values. Okay, open and close bracket. So you start. The first thing is what? SN. SN is auto incremental. You don't need to enter anything here rather than null. Anytime you enter null, that means you're not entering any. That was why they said by default it is null. So it will keep incrementing. Next is what? The name. The other time you use several names here. Let me just say Mr. A. Okay, comma. Okay, name of the pet, is it? Okay, let me leave this as the name of the owner. Name of the pet, let it be. The other time we said Morris. It be Morris or anything you call. Next is what? Species. Species is you say species. Let it be cat maybe. Comma. Text. So this one, since it is not string, we use car. So you use only one quote, not double quotes. So let's say it is male, for example. Are we understanding? Next is what? Date. The date. Let me put in 1990. Let's say May and 1st of May, comma. Let's say 2000. Okay, in court, right? 2000 May and 01. Let me insert this and come back again. Press enter. One row what affected. How do we see the contents? Then you come up with what? Select asterisk. This asterisk means all columns from the table name is pet. So you see one row is shown here. Is it? So I told you to go and do something here. All right, so I think this I tried to solve yesterday's question, right? I mean last week question. So let me create today's table to today's lesson. Week 2, day 1, right? Yeah, this is your DOC, date of commencement, but then it is week 2, day 1. So today, the topic of today is loading from a file. Loading data from a .txt file. Loading the data from a .txt file. This is lesson 2. Even though I think, let me just create it below that one, so we can always refer to it. Okay, do you understand? I did something here. Instead of me creating another file and another file, let's just let it be this way. So this is today's lesson, and I will explain it. Before I explain, let me reduce the font size here, so I have this in one line. I want to reduce the font size so I can have it in one single line. Okay, good. So if you want to make insertion like this, you can just, let's say I want to make 4 or 5 insertions, so I can now make changes, right? This is B, Mr. B, Mr. C, D, E and F, and maybe here you have, I don't know these names, somebody should assist me, Jaws or something. Okay, you have something Jaja, I don't know. So here 1994, 93, 91, 95, 97, and maybe 2001, 5, 3, 7, and 9. So sorry. Alright, then I'll right click and paste. Then I'll press enter. So all these have been entered. Then I will now select from pet. Can you see? But then today's lesson is not for this. Today's lesson is how do we get a file? How do we, for example, we have a list of these things in a file. Let me just copy this exactly the way they are. This is the first thing we copied, right? And then I need to copy this also. So the format is this. I want to have a file with this content, and then I will just call the file name and everything will be entered without me saying insert into. Do we understand? I have a file somewhere. Let me just do it. The way to do it is to separate each and every column with a tab. Do we know tab? Tab, T-A-B, tab, one tab from your keyboard. So when I separate it this way, and then this is cut, right? I'll copy it and I will separate it with a tab. This is mail. I'll separate it with a tab. This is the first. So here you see there's nothing like giving quotation or something. It's just the raw data. You have the raw data somewhere, and you want to just call the file to use it. Let me have something like this. Okay, maybe here I have female, and here female and female, and 93, 1, 6, 2, to 9. Are we understanding? Are we understanding? You see, this time around, I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to insert from database, saying insert. No, it is an assumption that you have a table, you have a file, a TXT file somewhere like this, and you want to just call it so you can have it. You can have the data loaded into your database. Are we getting it? This is not an Excel sheet or something, but a TXT file. So I want to use this file. I will just call the file with a command. So all these will now be loaded into database. Do we understand? Maybe when I'm done, you understand. Snake, dog, maybe rat. Do you have rat like this? Anyway. So now, this is it. Now let me save the file somewhere. Maybe I already have one file here called pets. So let me rewrite it. Pets. Yes, I've overwritten the file. Okay. So this is where it is. C, export. This is the file name. Are we understanding? So you see, I'm not now saying insert into, but I have a TXT file somewhere, but I separated each and every column with a tab. So and I want to load it. These things happen really. You might work for an organization whereby they store data in either TXT file or in Word or in Excel. Are we there? So they will ask you to upload the data into their database, maybe running remotely as a web app or something. There was a time somebody called me for this. Somebody was telling them that they have to rewrite, that they will print out this TXT file and then they will now rewrite they will retype. It's a bit difficult. You understand? But this one you only call the file name and everything gets into it. So before we do that, first of all, let's now check this. This is what we have. Only how many rows? 6 rows, and it stopped at this jump, right? Okay. So, but then the TXT file we have, the last one here we call count. Let's go by this. This is the name we have given it. So let's go back to our material. Please understand what we are doing here. So this is what I have done here. This could be somebody's project with just some modifications. For example, the record for wheels. Anyway, do look at it. You should create a TXT file, pets.txt. That is, if you want to do that, if you want to just load data from a particular file. Loading from particular file is different from inserting directly on the database, on the server. Are we understanding? We shall come to do this using Excel. How do you load from Excel? And how do you export it to Excel? Whenever you create an application, you try to do what we call portability. Portability is one good property for a software developed. How does your software port into other softwares? How does it port? The software should not just be working independently on its own. If it cannot port into, or if other software cannot port into it, and that software cannot post into another, then there is a problem. So then, now these are the things. You all have this material. It is page 13, please. Page 13. Even though from here, yeah, page 13. So you could just create a file called the .txt file from your notepad containing the record line with values separated by tabs. Values separated by what? Tabs. That's what I have just done. These are values, but they are being separated by what? Tabs. Between this to that is a what? Is a tab. Between this to that is a tab. Do we understand? All right. So values separated by tabs, and giving the order in which the columns were listed in the create table. You have to give it order in which columns are listed in the create table. This is the create table. This is the table we created. So the first thing is serial number. Are we there? So are we understanding? All right. So the way in arrangement, in same sequential arrangement of the columns we have here, that's how you do. Okay. Then you create table statement. All right. Then and then give the order in which the column were created in this. For missing values, if there are missing values such as unknown text or unknown date of birth or something or whatever, you can use what? Null. That's exactly what I did. If you recall what I've done there. To represent this, and you can also use /n. \n is the same thing as what? Null. Thank you. But then the \n, the capital, the backslash and the capital N, do not use small letter, please. I don't know, maybe you test it and see. For example, the record for whistle, the bias will be like this. So this is an example. The whistle, between here and here, there is a tab space, okay? And then between this and the other column, there is a tab space, and the last one. Then you now load into it the database using what? Using this command. And what is the command? Load data local in file / the path into table pet. All right, please let's do it slowly. Okay, so you do what? Load data. This is the command we type in file. Thank you. Local load data local. Thank you. Local in file. That means the file is located locally within what? Within the file system here. Okay, within your system. So then you supply the path of the file. I'll supply it later. Don't worry. Then into table. What is the table name? Pet. Okay. Then you just terminate. Alright, so let's go back and to pick the file from here. You know, path. Do we understand path? The location where the file is, right? So click on. I want to pick the actual location of this. So I wouldn't want to be typing it myself. So when I click on this backspace and then the file name, it calls it, right? Pets, is it? When I click, it will try to open the file, but that's not what I wanted. I'll close it. When I go back here, can you see the path? The path is there, right? So I'll then copy it. When I copy it, I'll paste it within this. Please be careful here. I'll paste it within here. Okay, within the two quotes. All right, paste. All right, that it is there, is it? But then there's something we need to do here. In Windows, if you are giving out, if you are giving a description of a path of a particular file, we use backslash to do that. But MySQL uses /, and I copied from Windows. So please, you need to do what? Correct this to what? Thank you. Okay. So you press enter. Please read. It has entered. It has entered 6 records, right? Affected. Record 6 deleted. Okay, deleted records are what? 0, but affected records are 6. Good. So let's now check. You know, here we didn't say insert into, because there are situations whereby you'll be asked to insert 1 million records. Will you be inserting? After all, they have it already documented in their system in an electronic format. So you don't need to start saying that it has to be printed out and reinserted. No, you know the professional developer. Actually, for you to become a good developer, you have to be very good in database. And then the language you are developing, that your host language. So select what? Asterisk from pet. So we'll see additional how many records? 6 records, and it has entered. Okay, is it? Formerly it stopped at jumps, is it not? At 6, and then additional 6 records. And are the 6 records correct? They are. Everything is intact. So this is another assignment for you. I'm sorry, I have to stop this video. I don't want it to be so lengthy.